Hello everyone! I've been spending a lot of time getting my characters up and ready, and I've been recording bits and pieces of Warlords, so this week I haven't been able to get a proper lore video done. I already announced that this was most likely going to be the case, so for those looking for a proper lore video, my apologies, next week we'll go back on track. For this week, I figured it would be handy to answer a few of the questions most people ask me on the Twitch and talk a little bit about how the launch of the game was for me. I know a lot of you are still facing login queues, and I think it's horrible that you're unable to play the game that you've paid for. I saw a tweet from Blizzard that they prepared for a lot more players, but they were simply overwhelmed, and I'm curious if that was really the case, or if it was the DDoS attacks, or if there's some other reason, because if the numbers are really that high, then there is a silver lining to be found. It would mean that the game actually managed to get a ton more subscribers in, which is excellent for the future, wow, but for the moment, it simply sucks that people can't log in, and I feel very sorry for you if that's the case. Now for me, I play on a dead server, which means that we haven't faced a lot of problems, we haven't faced a lot of lag, and we haven't faced any queues. On launch day, I was waiting at the Dark Portal like everyone else, but I also had a few daily quests ready to be turned in. My original plan was to first turn in these daily quests and then go back to the Dark Portal, but Alex from Fatboss, he recommended to first get my Garrison Hearthstone, get my Garrison up and running, so I wouldn't be stuck behind everyone else in the Tanaan jungle. I made that my plan, but as everyone was waiting in the same zone and they had to talk to the same NPC, the server, it simply couldn't handle it, we all got disconnected, and when I logged back in, I found myself at the Cluxy. This is where I placed my Hearthstone, so I figured I might as well turn in my dailies. I turned in the dailies over at the farm, and then I tried to talk to Khadgar again, and miraculously, I was able to get into Draenor. This all worked very smooth, and I was simply able to go and do my quest. But apparently, I was one of the few people, since everyone on Twitch was like, how did you get in? How did you do that? And the viewer count on the channel actually jumped to like 15,000, which was kinda nuts. It was luck. Pure and simple, and luck allowed me to get ahead of the curve, it allowed me to finish Shadow Moon Valley, and from that point on, I pretty much had every zone to myself. Now 9.5 hours, it was pretty fast. It was faster than I did it on the beta, but it was nowhere near a world first, and it was nowhere near as fast as it could have been. I've heard of someone using turtle meat to get to level 99 in a few hours before Blizzard banned them and put them back to level 90. I've heard of people doing it in like 5 hours, but 9.5, I was still very happy with the time. I was probably realm first on Tadokar again, but like I mentioned before, I didn't do it for the achievement. They removed the achievements, so there was no point to go for it, and besides that, I did it because I wanted to get the stuff done. I wanted to get the character ready, I wanted to level up my Horde character, I wanted to make videos again, so basically I did it all in the beta. I had seen every single questline, I had seen every single cinematic several times, so I just wanted to get stuff done. Now some of you asked me if I did anything special while leveling, and to be honest, not really. I just followed the quest lines. Like I mentioned, I had those daily quests to get me ahead of the curve, but besides that, I just followed the quest lines. I did the world events wherever I could, because the world events, they give you a ton of experience, and I killed a couple of rares here and there. I did purchase the experience potions from the Garrison, and I did this once I reached the Spires of Arak, so this was at level 96, because the Spires, it's not my favorite zone. I've done this a couple of times in the beta. The first time I was blown away with how fun the area actually was. And then the second time, and the third time, and the fifth time, it felt not so much fun. And I just wanted to get the zone done. And thankfully, it has been improved compared to live. At least in my experience, it was done a lot faster. Compared to beta, my apologies. In my opinion, it was done a lot faster. So yeah, we got through that zone. Then Nagrand happened, and yeah, reached level 100. I did drop the guild banner like once or twice, but most of the time I forgot to use the item, so the guild banner was not so much of an issue. It was mainly the experience potion, follow the quest, and do the world events. So that was my leveling done, which meant I could get my Garrison up and running, and here's where I made a little mistake. For my medium building, I picked the Lunafall Inn, and it was great, don't get me wrong, I got the item that I was hoping for, but in the long run, I should have gone for the mill. I didn't realize how hard it would be to gather resources in a short amount of time, so if I could go back in time, I had definitely picked the mill. Not having enough resources meant that I had to spend a whole bunch of time farming rare spawns, farming treasure chests, and if you're looking for add-ons to help you with this, I'll place a few links in the description. Now besides farming resources, I also kept myself busy with boosting up my item level, so I would be able to do heroics, and the gear mainly came from normal dungeons and the rare spawns. There are probably better ways to get gear, like the black market and whatnot, but that's the way I did it. And then I focused on getting the legendary questline up and running, and with that, pretty much everything I could prepare for was done. That was my introduction experience, and by this point in time, I'm pretty much ready for the anniversary and for LFR to open up. A few of you asked me if I could make a guide for the Garrison, but there are already so many guides available and the Garrison is pretty personal. It's up to you what you want from the Garrison, what kind of buffs and perks you want, so a guide is not so helpful. What I can do is show you the way that I did it, and the buildings that I picked are the following. As my large building, I have the barracks, since it's the zone buff for Shadowmoon Valley, and once you upgrade it, you can drop a follower, which will be a very powerful bodyguard in all of Draenor. My second large building is the Dwarven Bunker, since it allows me to farm armor scraps for transmog, and once I have enough resources, I'll be able to level it up and get work orders going for gear for the followers. I might replace the bunker once I get all the items out of it that I want, but for now, that's the building that I picked. As my medium building, I now have the Lumber Mill, but like I said, I first picked the Lunafall Inn, since I really wanted to get Aurelius Whispering Crystal, and this crystal is a reusable buff and it increases stats by 200. I also got Aviana's Feather, which allows me to freaking fly in Draenor, so I'm not too salty about picking the inn first. It was a great help for getting the chests, but the mill would have been better. Now I have both buildings, so thankfully I've got best of both worlds now. I've got the resources, I've got the quests that are coming, so I'm very happy. For my small buildings, I picked Engineering Works, since I'm an engineer and it allows me to craft my daily cooldown material at a faster pace. For the second one, I was first thinking about taking the Storehouse, but thankfully some very helpful people in the chat, they convinced me to take the Forge, and this allows me to craft some gear for myself, since I'm a plate user. It will take a bit of time, since I'm not a blacksmith myself, so the material needed, the daily cooldown, is a little bit slower, but yeah, I'm very happy. I've seen the gear that I could craft later on. It's epic gear, so I'm pretty damn pleased. Now that's how I build up my Garrison, but like I said, it's pretty personal and it's up to you to decide what kind of buffs and benefits you want to get out of it. Just read the description of the buildings, make your own choices, and you'll be perfectly fine. With my Garrison up and running, all I need to do now is focus on keeping my work orders up, I need to send my followers away, and that's pretty much it until the anniversary and the raids open up. This gives me time to focus on leveling my Horde Death Knights, and this one will be a little bit slower since I want to record all of the story. I focused mainly on the Alliance side when I was doing the beta, so now I want to see the other side of things, and from what I remember, it's pretty much a mirrored experience, maybe a couple of NPCs that will change. Of course, we have the Frostfire Ridge experience and Shadowmoon Valley. Those two are unique, but the rest of the story is pretty much the same, and I can't wait to cover it all on live with cinematics and storytelling. It's gonna be great. I'll finish this video with some final questions that keep on popping up on the chat, and the number one question, as always, where are you from? I'm from the Netherlands. That's the crazy accent that you're hearing right now. I'm from the Netherlands, which makes me Dutch, and yeah, that's where I'm from. Will you do a video on enter lore character, enter subject, enter zone, enter anything Warcraft-ish here? And the answer is simple. I have a Word document with around 100 pages, and these are all requests, and my aim with the channel is to one day cover all the stories of Warcraft. This means that, yes, at some point I will definitely cover the story, but I can't give you a set date. I don't really have a board on my wall with a couple of characters that are coming. I don't really have a plan in mind when it comes to making these videos. Most of the time, I simply look at what is current lore, what is something that could be interesting, but the main one is what do I feel inspired about. These scripts that I write, I need to feel some sort of inspiration, some sort of motivation to talk about the characters. So that's pretty much my schedule. To answer your question, yes, one day I will definitely cover your character. I just can't give you a set date, but don't be afraid to send requests, eh? I love requests. It gives me some inspiration sometimes. It gives me some new ideas. So if you have requests, you can always leave a comment. You can send me a PM on Facebook. Man, you can even send me a tweet. Requests are always welcome. Where did you get those wings? And this is because I use this toy on the stream most of the time. This toy you can get from the Darkmoon Fair. They've added a new game in which you'll need to fly through a couple of rings in the air. If you fly through 50 in one go, you'll get the item and you'll get these beautiful red wings. How can you see the treasures and rare spawns on the map? The treasures, they're visible because I bought the treasure maps in Asran. They're available for 100 gold once you've completed the quests in the zone. The rare spawns, they come from an add-on. It's called My Rare Finder. Like I said, I'll place a few links in the description. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done for today. For me, it's back to leveling a Warlords and back to real life. I've been no-lifing it since launch and it's time to get things back on track. Next week I'll do a Q&A and after that we'll probably cover the story of Shadowmoon Valley, Frostfire Ridge. We'll see where the expansion is going to take us. Thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos And until next time, guys, see ya!